Most women with mature skin have already tried everything. A full coverage foundation every morning, setting powder to lock it down, a pore blurring primer underneath. By 2 in the afternoon, it looks cakey, and every fine line around the mouth looks deeper than it did barefaced. The problem is not the foundation, it is the formula category. Most foundations are built for coverage. Mature skin is not a coverage problem. We tested 7 of the most popular foundations against the only 5 criteria that actually matter for skin over 45. One clear winner. Starting with number 7, the 5 criteria: line settling, oxidation, wear longevity, skin integration, and value. Each foundation rated on the same scale. Same test, same standard. Number 7, NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation, around $45. This is the foundation every beauty editor has recommended at least once. The campaign imagery is always stunning, always editorial, always shot under carefully controlled studio lighting on women half our age. What it claims: weightless, buildable, long-wearing with a natural radiant finish. What the test found: I applied this on a 62-year-old client with normal to dry skin under my salon lights. Within the first hour, the formula was already clinging to the dry patches along her jawline like lint on a black sweater. By the 3-hour mark, every expression line on her forehead looked deeper than it did barefaced. Dimethicone sits high on the ingredient list, and it creates a silicone film across the surface. On a 28-year-old with tight, smooth skin, that film looks flawless. On mature skin, it turns into a magnifying glass for every single thing you are trying to soften. This is an editorial foundation designed for a photo shoot, not for a Tuesday afternoon running errands. Number 6, Clinique Even Better Clinical Serum Foundation, around $39. Clinique has spent decades building trust on the promise that their formulas are clean, dermatologist-developed, and designed for sensitive, real-world skin. Even Better specifically markets itself as a treatment and a foundation in one. What it claims: 24-hour wear, serum-driven technology that visibly evens skin tone over time. What the test found: I matched the shade carefully on a 57-year-old client. In the bottle, it was a clean match to her neck and jawline. By the 90-minute mark, the foundation had oxidized at least a full shade darker across the forehead and around the nose. She looked in my salon mirror and said it looked like she had gotten a tan she never asked for. Oxidation is the quiet saboteur of mature foundation wear. Your skin chemistry shifts as you age, and formulas that stay true on younger skin will betray you by lunchtime. If your foundation changes color on your face, nothing else it does matters. The serum ingredients are real, but they do not fix the oxidation problem. 2 out of 10. The next one has been the ride or die for millions of women, and it is failing them quietly. Number 5, Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Foundation, around $46. This is the foundation women over 40 have been loyal to for years, sometimes decades. Double wear is the name that comes up at every dinner party, every girls' trip, every conversation about what foundation are you using. What it claims: 24-hour wear, full coverage, oil-free, a flawless matte finish that does not budge. What the test found: full coverage is actually making it worse. I watched Double Wear settle into the smile lines of a 59-year-old client within 2 hours like it was following a roadmap. The formula is dense, matte, and rigid. It does not move with the face. When she smiled, the foundation cracked along the creases beside her mouth. When she talked, separation lines appeared around her chin. Had a client last month who told me she has worn Double Wear since 2012. She thought the creasing was her skin getting worse. It was the foundation getting worse on her skin. Double Wear was built for oily, firm, youthful faces. 3 out of 10. The next one was built for professionals. But professional lighting and real-world daylight are 2 different conversations. Number 4, MAC Studio Fix Fluid Foundation, around $40. MAC has always been the industry brand. Makeup artists keep it in their kits backstage at fashion shows. Studio Fix is the workhorse formula that built that reputation. What it claims: medium to full buildable coverage, a matte finish, and the widest shade range on this list at 67 options. What the test found: the shade range is impressive, and MAC deserves credit for that. The formula itself is where things break down for mature skin. Studio Fix sits on top of the surface like a coat of paint on weathered wood. It does not melt into the skin. It does not blend into the texture. Under my salon lighting, I could see the hard line where foundation ended and bare skin began on a 54-year-old client's neck. The matte finish pulls whatever moisture is left out of already dry, mature skin, leaving it looking flat and tired by mid-afternoon. In Korean beauty, we call the ideal finish mulgwang, a dewy glow from within that looks like your skin just naturally does that. Studio Fix is the opposite. It looks like you tried very hard. That is never the goal after 45. 3 out of 10. The next one almost convinced me. Number 3. Armani Beauty Luminous Silk Foundation, around $65. This is the foundation that film set makeup artists have quietly recommended for years. The texture is unlike anything else on this list. When you pump it onto the back of your hand, it feels more like tinted water than traditional foundation. What it claims: lightweight, luminous, buildable to a second skin finish. What the test found. I will give Armani real credit here. For the first 3 hours, Luminous Silk was the most beautiful foundation in this test on my 61-year-old client's face. It draped over the skin like a silk veil, not a mask. The finish was luminous without looking greasy or shiny. But after hour 4, the formula started to vanish. Not break down, not get patchy, just quietly disappear. By hour 6, her nose and chin looked completely bare. The forehead still had some coverage, but the cheeks were practically back to where she started. Luminous Silk does not have the staying power mature skin needs for a full day. It is a gorgeous 4-hour foundation at a price tag that promises all day. If you only need it for a dinner party and you have $65 to spare, it is beautiful. For daily wear, the math does not add up. 6 out of 10. Number 2. Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear Foundation, around $47. This is the first foundation in the test that passed nearly every category without a significant failure. Lancome has been a mature woman's brand for generations, and the Teint Idol formula reflects that understanding in ways the others simply do not. What the test found. Comfortable wear through hour 6 on a 63-year-old client. Minimal oxidation. Good shade fidelity from morning through afternoon. The formula does not cling to dry patches the way NARS did. It does not crack in the smile lines the way Double Wear does. The coverage is buildable without ever feeling heavy or mask-like on the skin. For women who have reactive or sensitive mature skin and need a formula that works without any drama, Lancome is a real option for daily wear. The limitation. Teint Idol is a fixed formula. It goes on one shade and stays that shade all day. That sounds like a good thing until you understand that mature skin tone shifts throughout the day as blood flow and temperature change. The formula does not adjust. It does not respond to your skin. It performs well, but it cannot read you. 7 out of 10. Quick pause. After running this test across all 7 foundations, one pattern kept showing up that I could not ignore. Most women with mature skin are shopping for the wrong thing. They are buying coverage when what they actually need is a formula that responds to their skin instead of sitting on top of it. I put together a free guide with the 5 formula patterns I now check before recommending any foundation to a client over 45. Link is in the description. It is free. The winner is the only foundation in this test that does something the other 6 do not even attempt. Number 1. Luxe Color Changing Foundation, around $38 to $42. 6 foundations failed at least one of the 5 criteria. Lancome came the closest. It performed well across the board, but could not adjust to the way mature skin shifts throughout a full day. Luxe was built around that exact problem. What it claims: adaptive color-changing pigments that respond to your individual skin tone, pH level, and undertone in real time. What the test found. I applied Luxe on 4 different clients in a single afternoon, ages 51 through 68. Each application settled into a slightly different shade within about 60 seconds, matching their skin like it had been custom mixed in a lab for them specifically. That alone sets it apart from everything else on this list. But the real difference showed up at the 3-hour mark and beyond. On my 68-year-old client, the formula was still sitting exactly where I placed it at the 8-hour mark. When she smiled, nothing cracked along the laugh lines. When she talked, nothing separated around the chin or settled into the lines under her eyes. The formula moves with mature skin instead of fighting against it. 15 minutes into wearing most foundations, the decline has already started. Cracking, oxidizing, separating, sliding off. This formula at hour 8 still looked like she had just sat down in my chair. My 57-year-old client looked in the mirror at hour 6 and said 4 words I almost never hear in this chair. It looks like my skin. Not my skin covered up. Not my skin with product on it. My skin on its best day. Client after client described the same thing. It looks like my skin, but better. That is the highest compliment a foundation can earn from a woman over 45, because it means the formula disappeared into the skin instead of sitting on top of it. I have linked the exact Luxe foundation on Amazon in the description if you want to try it yourself. The test result across all 5 criteria. Line settling, the adaptive formula integrates into your skin's own texture instead of building a rigid layer on the surface, so there is nothing stiff to crack or crease. Oxidation, the color-changing pigments eliminate the problem entirely because the formula is constantly adjusting to your chemistry instead of fighting against it. Wear longevity, 8+ hours with no significant breakdown under professional salon lighting. Skin integration, this is the closest thing I have tested to that Korean mulgwang ideal, a foundation that looks like your own skin on its absolute best day. Value, $38 to $42 against a $65 Armani that vanishes in 4 hours and a $46 Estee Lauder that turns every smile line into a canyon. One thing worth knowing, because the formula adapts to your skin chemistry, the shade in the bottle will not match what it looks like on your face. That is the technology working. Give it 60 seconds after application and watch it find you. Trust the adjustment. 7 foundations, 1 test, 5 criteria. The winner costs less than most of the ones that failed. Drop in the comments which of these you are currently wearing. And after this test, are you keeping it or switching?